everyone. This is Andy Tiemann with PennyLoafer, and I have Marie Toccket here, who is the Executive Director of the Posner Foundation of Pittsburgh. Marie, welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
So I guess just to start, tell us a little bit about you, the foundation, and its work.
Sure. So I'm Anne-Marie. I've been with the Posner Foundation for almost exactly 3 years. And a fun fact is that I am the first staff member, and so the first executive director of the foundation. I'm also the only staff member as of now. And we are on a spend down. So the foundation is intending to spend most of its assets in the next 18 to 20 years. So this is a really timely conversation because we're doing a lot of thinking about how to choose nonprofits and what we look for and what we think about when we're thinking about that end goal in mind. So we have 5 funding areas. I won't bore you with them all, but the one we're going to focus on today is the environment program.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So as Anne-Marie mentioned, we're focusing on the environment portion today. She chose the nonprofit for our climate change cause this month. So Anne-Marie, tell us a little bit about the nonprofit you chose and why you chose it.
Sure. Well, if any of your viewers or funders are like me, climate change is really important, but feels like a really huge issue that someone like you or I wouldn't be able to impact or have an effect on as individuals. So one of the ways we've been thinking about climate at the foundation, at the Posner Foundation, is by thinking about some of the most effective strategies to get at climate change. So Project Drawdown, which is a big climate-oriented nonprofit, says that the single biggest impact on greenhouse gas emissions is food waste. So about 40% of the food that we produce in the United States, unfortunately, ends up going to waste. It means it never gets eaten and never gets consumed. And so Project Drawdown, again, has said if you can do one thing to impact the climate, it's stop wasting so much food. So we said, cool, let's run with that idea. And so the organization I chose to put in this month's portfolio is called Refed, R-E-F-E-D. And they're a sort of think and do tank on how we can together reduce food waste in the United States by half by the year 2030. So they've created a really cool framework that helps funders, businesses, corporations that produce food, institutions that serve it, like universities, cafeterias, stadiums. They've got strategies for every single sector on how it can contribute to this shared goal. And it's a really awesome organization. The people that work there are super knowledgeable and super approachable. And I wish every issue area, frankly, had sort of a centralized brain the way Refed provides that on food waste.
That's great. Thanks so much. I'm really excited for our donors to learn more about Refed and their work. You mentioned before, evaluating nonprofits, choosing nonprofits is typically pretty hard. How do you think about impact, with your work at the foundation? How do you measure it if you do?
Yeah, so actually the biggest gift I think that we've been given is the spend down. So we're planning, again, to spend most of the foundation's money in the next 20 years or so. So it's really forced us to be more focused in what we choose to fund and how we're thinking about how we know if we're making a difference or not. With that time frame in mind, all of a sudden it feels really urgent that we understand where the funding that the foundation gives is going. So Refed is a no-brainer for that reason. Again, they've laid out this time-bound framework that gets us to a shared goal, reducing food waste by half by the year 2030. And being able to sort of track progress in real time with Refed. They have an awesome tool. I encourage you all to check it out. It's called the Insights Engine. It's a really interesting interactive tool on their website that helps us all track progress together and understand what foundations can do, what businesses can do. So for us, Refed is an awesome organization to think about impact with because they're really setting the pace and the tone and telling us what impact looks like and how we can help them achieve it.
That's awesome. It seems like they have a really clear goal that they're working towards and that they're kind of coordinating with so many people across the food sector to coordinate towards. So that's really exciting. Awesome. I'm excited that PennyLoafer donors get to fund Refed this month and learn more about this amazing organization.
Yeah, and if anyone is so motivated, Refed hosts an awesome annual event every year called the Food Waste Summit. So we'll all be there, and it's in mid-May. It's May 10th, 11th, and 12th in Minneapolis, and they're live streaming it. So even if you can't get to Minneapolis, you can join remotely, and the sessions are awesome. Everyone's really cool, and it'd be a really good way to see Refed in action.
That's great. I'll definitely include that in the newsletter as well. So hopefully some of our donors can tune into that. Well, Anne Marie, thank you so much for your time. It's so great to hear directly from you about your work and about Refed and why you chose them for PennyLoafer donors this month. I'll leave you with one last question. So as you may know, PennyLoafer is named after the shoes, which were designed to hold 2 pennies to be able to make an emergency call at a payphone back in the day. The idea being that donors on PennyLoafer can use their spare change to put towards some of today's emergencies, like the climate change cause. So I'm curious, what's your favorite or most memorable pair of shoes that you've ever owned?
Well, if anyone out there is a cyclist, I fancy myself one, and I think the most memorable pair of shoes I've ever owned are my first pair of cycling shoes. So if you know what these are, they're these terrible, rigid, uncomfortable shoes that have a huge piece of metal on the bottom to clip into your bike shoes. And if anyone's ever tried to use those for the first time, you get on your bike and you promptly fall over. So it's a real exercise in humility and learning something new, learning new tricks as an older person later in life. And my first pair of bike shoes I had for like 15 years until they literally got holes in them. And I just bought a new pair, but I don't like them as much as my old ones because I have such cool memories on those.
Oh, that's a great answer. I love it. Well, thanks so much again for being here and for being our guest expert this month. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you, Andy. Great and good luck.